Hi and welcome to the next tutorial. In today's lesson we'll learn how to recreate this cool looking virtual gallery using Unity. So anyways guys, let's jump in. So the first thing is you'll need to go and install Unity, and the install that I'm using the 2019.4 version, and I'm just going to go to projects and then I'm just going to click on a new project. And so what I want to do is I want to create a new 3D project, and I'm just going to call it gallery, and then I'm just going to press create. So now once we're in Unity, what we need to do is we need to come over here to the package manager and we need to install a few things. So once you've installed post-processing and Pro Builder, what you then need to do is you need to import your first person all-in-one from the asset store. So all you have to do is just go to the asset store, find it, and then just click import, and it will download it to your assets. And once you have all that, what you need to do is you need to come over to tools, Pro Builder window, and then just drag this to your inspector around there so it just stays and locks in. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add a new cube. So we're just going to press on a new shape, and then what we need to do is we need to come over here, and I'm just going to click on the face selection. I'm going to click on a side of my cube, and then I'm just going to draw it out. So I'm going to draw it out probably around about 5 or 6 cubes, and these cubes are 1 by 1 meter in length. So now I'm just going to roughly, draw out my gallery. So I'm just going to grab this side and I'm just going to bring it out, maybe something like that. And then I'm going to grab the top end and I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to make sure that that's around 4 cubes in height. So that's 4 meters. So I'll bring it up to probably about there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to split it on this side to create a few rooms. So to do that, what we need to do is we need to click on the edge selection. We're going to click on that edge. We're going to go to select edge ring, and then we are going to go to insert edge loop. Then I'm just going to move it around. So I'm going to probably move it to about there. And now once I've done that, I can click on that face. I can hold shift, and then I can draw it out to however big I want. So now that I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to increase the height on this side. So again, I'm just going to click on that edge, and then I'm just going to bring it up, and you can see what is actually happening there. So now if you want to add different sections to these rooms, again, all you have to do is just click on the face and then bring it out slightly. So I'll bring it out to probably about there. And we've got another room, and then I'll just put another one just on this side as well. So I'll just click on this, hold shift, and then bring that out. So now we've got our sections here, and once you're happy with your layout, what you can do is you can select it all and then just go to flip normals, and now you can see the insides of your gallery. So once we've done that, then we need to add some lighting in here. So now I've just gone to flip normals, and that's my gallery layout. So the next thing that I need to do is I need to just add some lighting in here. So I'm just going to right click and go and add a spotlight. And then what I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to move it around. So I'm going to go to my inspector, and then I'm just going to bring it a little bit closer to the floor. I'm just going to move it until it's something like that, and then if you want to increase the range of that light, you can do that there as well. So now once you're happy with that, you can duplicate that again by pressing Ctrl D, and then you can move that around to different parts of the gallery. So I'm going to put a light there, and then I'm just going to put another light on probably about there. And if you want to change the colors of any of these lights, you can. So I'm going to maybe put a blue light in there, but I'm also going to duplicate that white light. And so I'm going to put that right at the start, and I'll duplicate that other light again, and I'll just put it over here next to the blue light. So now once we've got all that, then what we need to do is we need to add our textures. So to do that, what we need to do is we need to come over here to our assets, and we need to create a folder, and I'm just going to call it textures. And inside that folder, we're going to create 2 new folders for your walls textures and also for the floors. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to download some textures from Texture Haven. So this is Texture Haven, and I've picked this brick wall plaster texture, and these are royalty free, so that's pretty cool. All you have to do is download all the maps, and once you've downloaded that, then you can just drag them into your Unity. So I'm going to start with the floors here. So all I've done was just drag them all into the floors folder over here, and I'm going to do the same for walls. So now that I've dragged them all in, the next thing that I need to do is I need to create a material. So if I right click and go to create material, and I'm going to call this one walls, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here and lock this, and now I'm going to start to add some of these textures to all of the main maps over here. So we're going to start with occlusion first, and then what we are going to do is we're going to grab this and drag it to the albedo. I'm going to grab the normal one and drag it to normal, and you can see what the texture looks like here. And then finally I'm just going to grab this one and drag it to the secondary map, and it's going to have a look like that. Now if you want to change the smoothness, you can, or if you want to make it a bit more matte, you can also do that as well. And if you want to add some color or anything like that, you know, you can. If you want to make it darker or whatever, you can do that, but I'm going to leave it at white. If you want to make it a bit more metallic, you can do that as well. So now what we need to do is we need to fix that normal map. So just click fix now, and now we've got that in there just like that. So to add this to the walls, what we need to do is we need to make sure that we're on our face selection. And if you just come over here and grab all the faces that you can. So I'll grab that one, and then these two on this side. So that, and that. And then you can grab your wall textures and then just drag it to it. So now you can see what that has done. And if you've missed any, you can just grab it and then drag it to them as well. So I'll just drag it there, just like that. And so now if you want to change some of the tile width and the tiling over here, we can bring that down. So let's bring that down to about 0.6, and then we'll do the same for the secondary maps as well. So there we have it. There we have our walls. Okay, and so we're going to do the same thing for the floors. So we're going to create a new material. We're going to call it floors. Okay, I'm just going to unlock the walls and then lock the floors. And I'm going to start by dragging the occlusion to the occlusion. I'm going to drag this to the albedo. I'm going to drag the normal to the normal. And then I'm going to drag... Now you can play around with some of these settings, but I'm going to drag this one to the secondary albedo over there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this a little bit... Maybe I'll just bring down the smoothness there. If you want to increase the metallicness, you can. But then once you're happy with that, what you need to do is you need to highlight all of the floors and then just drag your texture to them just like that. So now I'm just going to click away, and I just want to change the tiling again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this down to, let's say 0.4, and then do the same for this side as well. So now we have the floor, which is looking pretty cool, and the walls. So once that's done, then we need to add in a few more things. So the first thing that we're going to add is we're just going to come over here and just add our first person all-in-one package to our scene, and I'm just gonna move that as well. So I'm gonna unlock the floors, and I'm just gonna move the camera so it sits right at the start. Now the rotation is a bit strange, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that it sits at the right spot. So when it starts, it's roughly around there. So let's go -90. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete the main camera because we don't need that anymore. So now once I've got that in, The next thing that I need to do is I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to create a new post-process volume. Okay. And what I need to do is I need to create a new layer, which is going to be on layer 8, which is called post-process. Well, firstly, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new post-processing profile. I'm going to call that gallery. Okay. And so I'm just going to fix my map as well. And what I'm going to do in here is I'm just going to drag this gallery to my post-process volume, and then I'm going to add some effects. So I'm going to add some color grading, and I'm just going to click on all. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change my layer and put it to my post-process, and then I'm going to make sure that is global is selected. All right, and then I can come and change the colors, but it's not going to work just yet. I need to go to my first person all-in-one package. I need to drag down until you get to play a camera. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here and add a component, and I'm going to add a post-process layer. And in here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the layer to post-process. And now you can see it's added our color grading in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back, and I don't really want to add too much color grading, so maybe just a tinge of blue. But I'm also going to grab another effect. I'm going to grab the Ambient Occlusion. And so if I click on all for Ambient Occlusion and uncheck this, now you can see we can add a little bit of the Ambient Occlusion to our gallery. So have a play around with some of those settings. You don't want to go too crazy in there, so I'll just leave it something like that. And then if you want to test it, all you have to do is just come over here and press play. And you will see that now Unity will go into the first person mode, and now you can walk around using the WSAD keys, and you can even hold shift to run. So what we're going to do is we're going to put something on the wall there, and we're going to put something on the wall here, and we will also put something on the wall there. And now you notice my screen is a little bit red. That means that I'm in the Unity, like it's actually working. I'm not in the editor anymore. And so if I want to get out of that, I can just press Control P. So now we're up to the next phase. So now what you need to do is you need to create a new folder, and I'm just going to call it media. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my assets to this folder. So this is going to be my pictures and my video. So now once I've added all of my assets into my media, so these are all my pictures, what I need to do is I'm just going to create a new material. So I'm going to go to right click, create material, and I'm just going to call this one poster 1. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my picture and put it onto the albedo. And again, you can change this around to give it a kind of, certain look if you want. But once you're happy with that, what you need to do is you need to come over here and create a new plane. And once you've got that plane, all you need to do is drag that object, that material to that plane, and you can see it's right there. So now all we have to do is just line it up and put it onto the wall. So I'm just going to rotate that until it's about... So now that I've rotated my plane, all I have to do is just make sure that it kind of fits on the wall. So I can just move it back, and it doesn't really matter if it goes too far over. But what you want to do is you just want to, position it nicely. So I'm just going to come over here and press R for my scale, and I'm just going to hold shift and then just bring that down just so it's something like that. And then I'm just going to press W and then just align it to wherever it needs to go. And so now there's not much lighting in there. So what I need to do is I just need to grab and drag one of my lights and put it maybe right about there. And I can just increase the range just like that. And then I'm just going to, it's off the wall. So I'm just going to make sure that it fits on the wall just like that. And so there you go. There's that first picture that fits into that wall area nicely. So we're going to do the same for the next picture, and it's the same process again. So what we are going to do is we're just going to come over here, and I'm just going to create a new material, This one is going to be called poster 2, and then I'm just going to grab the picture and drag it to the albedo, and then I'm just going to maybe change the smoothness a little bit. I'm going to create a new plane, and then I'm going to drag that to the plane, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to position it in there. So if I come over here and if I rotate that, so we'll put that -90 just so it fits in there, and then we'll scale it down a bit. And then if we need more lighting, we can add another light. So maybe I'll just duplicate that light and I will move that a little bit closer to that wall. So something like that. Maybe just increase the lighting there. And there we have it. So now we've got this picture over there and we've got another picture over there. So if we preview that, and if we go through our gallery, you can see what's actually happening. So here we have the first picture. That's looking pretty cool. And then if we move to the second area, we've got the second picture over there. And so now we're going to add the final video, which is going to fit on this wall. So to do that, there are a few steps that we need to do. So the final thing that we're going to do is we're just going to add the video on this wall over here. So now it's quite easy to do that. All we need to do is we need to create a new video player, and we're just going to drag the clip of the video to the video clip over here. We're just going to click on loop, and we also need to make sure that we have a texture over here. So we're just going to create a new render texture, and I'm just going to put it at 1920 by 1080. And now if I've done that, the next thing that I need to do is I need to create a plane to put this on. So if I go to create plane, and then if I move this into position, so I'm just going to move it down and I'm just going to rotate it. So let's say, let's rotate it this way. Okay, so once you've got your plane in place, all you need to do is drag the render texture to the plane. And then once you've done that, then you want to just maybe come over here and add some more lighting. So let's say, for example, I grab, maybe something like this, and then I can move this and just move this lighting in here, just so that we can have a bit of light to it. I just need to drag my render texture to the target texture, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scale that up just a little bit more so it sits evenly on both sides, and then I'm just going to preview that. And there you see the video is now playing, but the only problem is that it's upside down. So what we need to do is we just need to rotate it around. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to So now I've rotated that video around, and now if I press play on my Unity, then you can see here that if I go over to that section, I can see that my video is playing in that section over there, and that's looking pretty cool, and that will loop as well. So the final thing that we want to do is we just want to add a different ceiling. Now you can change the texture if you want, but I'm just going to run with the same texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that I can actually click on all of these faces, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to my textures, and what I used for the walls, I'm just going to drag and put onto the roof as well. So the final thing that we can add is just some text. So if you want to add some text, we can come over here and we can add Text Mesh Pro, and we just need to import our examples and extras. So once you've done all this, then you can start to add some text. So anyways, once you're happy with your text, the final thing that you will need to do is you will need to build and run your Unity project. So you can do that by coming into your build settings, making sure that you pick where you're going to build it to, and then you can click build and run, and that will create the package for you. So anyways, that's about it. Thanks for watching this pretty long tutorial on how to create a virtual gallery inside of Unity. Hope you learned something, and I will see you guys next time.